That footage right there was being played on Fox. Those were long lines stretching outside of a Cleveland food bank as the federal SNAP payments have been shut off to millions of Americans as a result of the Trump regime. Americans are starving to death, and you're even seeing it there on Fox. Now, while that's taking place, contrast it to what's taking place at Mar-A-Lago currently. So we know last week they threw the Great Gatsby themed Roaring Twenties party with the slogan, "A little party never killed nobody," as the Trump regime is quite literally ripping away healthcare from over 20 million Americans and ripping away SNAP food stamps from 42 million Americans. But here's what we're seeing at Mar-A-Lago, and our incredible researchers at the MeidasTouch network were the first to post these photos, which have since gone mega viral. Hat tip once again to our wonderful editorial team. You have this party taking place now at Mar-A-Lago. Stone crab claws, hugely expensive dishes out here, the world's most expensive seafood in the world. This is the party they're throwing in Mar-A-Lago while millions of children starve in America because of Donald Trump. They then had Javier Milei, the Argentinian authoritarian leader, who the United States just gave $40 billion to. We don't have enough money to pay for SNAP, or according to Donald Trump, or pay for healthcare, but we give Argentina $40 billion and they have universal healthcare. Well, Javier Milei is partying at Mar-A-Lago. I mean, they're quite literally mocking us. This is Javier Milei partying. Play this clip. You also have Mar-A-Lago guests watching synchronized swimmers performing God Bless the USA. There was a $64,000 Thailand beach vacation package that was auctioned off at Mar-A-Lago as Americans can't afford groceries. That was taking place. You see Donald Trump right there on his iPad at Mar-A-Lago while all of that is going down. Then they have opera singers at Mar-A-Lago. I'll just show you just a few seconds of it so you can see for yourself what the hell is taking place. And now, while that's happening too, we learned that Trump Media, the parent company of Truth Social, Donald Trump's social media company, well, they posted a massive quarterly loss. Get this, they claim they only earned $972,000 for the third quarter, ending in September, down 3.8% from last year, and a net loss in the third quarter of $54.8 million, wider than the $19.2 million reported in the same period last year. And it apparently saw $20.3 million in legal expenses in the quarter, a $54.8 million net loss for the third quarter alone. Let's just be clear. Money doesn't just get lost, like it goes somewhere. So who the hell is getting this money that seems to just be passing through Trump media in this way? And just think about it this way. If he's losing whatever that was, $54 million, 54.8 to be specific, in the third quarter for a social media company, just think, if you can't handle that, the hell are you supposed to run the United States of America? He's running the country into the ground the way he's bankrupted his businesses before, with the same fraud, with the same criminality, in my opinion. And just take a look at this. Listen, CPI inflation data quality continues to decline. In September, okay, 40% of CPI items were estimated, up from 36% in August. Let me explain to you what that means. When price data is unavailable because Trump fired all the people at the Bureau of Labor Statistics who would gather and aggregate the data, the BLS, the Bureau of Labor Statistics, remember the commissioner he fired, they fill in the gaps with estimated values. They make it up. And that typically accounts for 10% of all CPI entries. That percentage has now quadrupled over the past 7 months. This means 40% of price quotes across 200 products and service categories were calculated using substitute pricing, where data collectors for Trump filled in missing figures with values from other categories or regions. So the CPI numbers are becoming less accurate. And by the way, we're not even getting the numbers anymore because Trump is blaming the shutdown for why they're not printing any of the inflation data, the CPI inflation data, job data. And so we have to rely on private reports. And that's how we learned that in October, at least 153,000 jobs were lost. It's probably a much higher number. But when it comes to the inflation data, to the extent it ever gets released again, the Trump regime is literally just making it up. They're going into a spreadsheet, and rather than actually getting the data, here's how much this product increased or that product increased, they're just coming up with fake numbers. Like, that's what they're doing right now. All right, now I want to share with you the contrast. I showed you what was going down in Mar-A-Lago, the authoritarian leader of Argentina who got $40 billion of our taxpayer dollars while Americans starve, partying in Mar-A-Lago while they are they are serving stone crab claws, and they're doing synchronized swimming and 64,000 Thailand freaking vacations. Weird as that. Contrast that to what California Governor Gavin Newsom was doing yesterday. MeidasTouch got the exclusive clip of Governor Newsom in California getting a rock star welcome in Houston. Newsom went to the belly of the beast, and he was greeted by a huge crowd of enthusiastic people in Texas ready to fight back against this despicable authoritarian Trump regime. Play the clip of Newsom.
Look, I just want to thank all of you guys for showing up for each other, having each other's back. Tuesday was a big night. And we would not have been successful. We wouldn't even have come up with the idea had you not inspired all of us to make the point. This is about all of us, not just about Texas, not just about California. It's about the United States of America. All I want to say, because I got to get back in there, because I'm about to speak. I mean this as a guy with 4 kids, the bottom of my heart. Thank you for showing up for yourselves and for each other. Thank you for giving a damn. Thank you for not giving into the cynicism. I know it feels like it's shock and awe. And it's all about exhausting us.
The same Texas,
but the fact
please.
But the fact that you're here today and you continue to share your voice and not give in to that cynicism, that fear, and that anxiety, that's the antidote to the fear. So keep it up. We love you.
Now, while all of this is taking place, the Trump regime has the idea, and Donald Trump made the social media post, that here's what they're going to do. They're going to turn the 30-year mortgage into a 50-year mortgage, because the way that they want to deal with the affordability crisis is not to actually address affordability, but to help the banks collect more in interest over the lifetime of a loan and basically turn Americans into lifelong indentured servants. Essentially, you have Pulte, this guy who runs Donald Trump's Fair Housing Administration. He's the guy who targets Donald Trump's political enemies for the vindictive prosecutions, like New York Attorney General Letitia James. And Pulte goes, thanks to President Trump, we are indeed working on the 50-year mortgage, a complete game changer. And by the way, MAGA hated this idea. People like Matt Walsh, as far MAGA as you get. He goes, this just means your house will be owned by the bank until you die and after. We don't need 50-year mortgages. And then he goes and blames it on illegal immigrants because they are still MAGA. But the reality is, if you want to address the affordability issue, you need to then get the hedge funds and the private equity companies out of purchasing all of these homes and commoditizing home ownership and preventing families from being able to buy homes. You need to be able to raise the wages to make living wages. That's how you have to address affordability, not with what the Trump regime is doing. So I think that's probably the stupidest idea imaginable, going to a 50-year mortgage. And also, to me, it hints at the fact that Trump and his regime realize how bad the housing market is right now, and they want to make it worse with these gimmicks than actually addressing the real issues. And also, if you wanted to go from a 30-year to a 50-year, you can't just divine it and say you're going to do it. There has to be a whole change in regulations that would require Congress's intervention. And if Trump were to do it on his own, he'll create the same, even worse chaos than he did with his trade war against the world, and further push the United States into Great Recession or depressionary territory at this point. But if you listen to the MAGA Republicans, this is a real post from Mark Wayne Mullen, the MAGA Republican senator from Oklahoma. I mean, how pathetic is this? We have all the receipts, right, of Donald Trump's in Mar-A-Lago. They're doing, the crab parties this week with synchronized swimming or whatever the hell they're doing. But the Republicans want to pretend that they're working. So Mark Wayne Mullen, I kid you not, yesterday he posts, "Working through the weekend with President Donald J. Trump. It's always an honor to be in the Oval Office. I never take this opportunity to serve Oklahoma for granted." Dude, Donald Trump's not in the White House. You're posting an old photo and pretending you are all working this weekend. Do you think that the corporate media runs the show right now? It doesn't. MeidasTouch Network runs the show right now. We're going to fact check you in a second. We've got the receipts of what's going down in Mar-A-Lago. This propaganda isn't working, you MAGA fascists, because we got the receipts here at the MeidasTouch Network. By the way, if you zoom in on what Mark Wayne Mullen, this MAGA Republican senator, posted, zoom in right there. What the hell are they even showing him? Charts with his signature on it? He's looking at charts that have his own signature. And then on his desk, he has photos of his own social media posts on a failing social media platform that apparently lost close to $60 million last quarter. He just has his social media posts on his desk. That's not work. That's literally being deranged. Like, what the hell is that? And then if you zoom in on the back photo that Mark Wayne Mullen posted on the back of his desk, is that Don Jr. like on his knees on the bottom of Donald Trump's desk? I mean, this is really weird behavior. And also last week, I guess, while Donald Trump was in the Oval Office, he wasn't working. He was sleeping. We saw him fall asleep multiple times, snoring, like he fell asleep before our eyes. And I know finally, I think the Washington Post covered it, but like, look at this guy. I mean, Governor Newsom's mocking it, the nod father. You have this photo of Donald Trump with kind of his hand, like, looks like it's like limping right there. This guy fell asleep over and over and over again. And while he's at Mar-a-Lago partying, while the American people are sleeping, whatever the hell he's doing, while the American people are suffering, starving to death, he's starving Americans to death as he's ripping away their health care. He's also unleashed his Border Patrol agents and ICE. Hat tip to Laura Rodriguez Presa. She posted these photos from yesterday in Little Village in Chicago, documenting the Border Patrol terrorizing people in Chicago. You see them go out there with their guns, pointing their guns at people in the vehicle. They just drive around pointing guns at people and terrorizing them. I mean, that's what these Trump regime Gestapo people are doing. Oh yeah. Another economic indicator, Wendy's closing hundreds of locations. List of fast food casualties in 2025 grows even longer. The burger chain said in its earning call Friday that it will shutter 200 to 350 stores. Also, hedge funds are now shorting the markets at the fastest pace since April, when Trump announced the liquidation day, which he called Liberation Day. And I want to highlight Senator Rosen from Nevada. I think that she's channeling the way a lot of Americans are feeling right now. She discovered that the MAGA Republican senator from Ohio, Bernie Moreno, was actually stalking her and her female staff. I know it sounds ridiculous and sick, but it's true. So Bernie Moreno and his staff would go and look at the VIN numbers of the vehicles of Senator Rosen and her female staffers because they wanted to talk about the cars that they're driving. I don't know. Who even knows? Who knows if Moreno brought it to his, car dealerships to search these things? But now all of the people in Rosen's office feel like they're being stalked by the people in Moreno's office, this crazy MAGA Republican guy. And so here she is, though, as part of the exchange that transpires. And I just want you to watch as she forcefully pushes back against him. And just watch this moment. Here, play this clip.
Saying to you, is this a Republican shutdown, my friend? You are in control of the White House. You are in control of the House, and you are in control of the Senate. And if you went home to a food bank instead of going to Mar-A-Lago to eat at a gold-plated dinner while people are starving, you might see and hear your constituents, sir. You are blind to the suffering of your people.
Well, there you have it, folks. We covered a lot there. Make sure you hit subscribe. Let's get to 6 million. We appreciate you. And let's get to 6 million subscribers. Have a good one.
Want to stay plugged in? Become a subscriber to our Substack at MeidasPlus.com. You'll get daily recaps from Ron Filipkowski, ad-free episodes of our podcast, and more exclusive content only available at MeidasPlus.com.